Hi there everyone, Laura and Peter here, and today we want to talk to you a little bit about probably the most important metric within our app, which is a metric that we have devised to help you train a little bit better, and this is the power score, and we wanted to talk to you a little bit more about it and kind of possibly even answer some questions that you might have about it, and what is it, and you know, how is it related to other kind of power metrics. How do we calculate it? How can you use it in your training? And just all these kind of things, and just, you know, address it a little bit more in detail. Yeah. So, Peter, let's maybe you can kind of answer some of those questions, and I'll act as an interviewer, and we can just go ahead like this. So, what is power score, and why we decided to use it as a metric, as a key metric within our app, and yeah, how is it?
What's the deal with power score? Basically, we needed to quantify somehow how well each and every one of you is basically doing and progressing on your journey to becoming healthier and stronger. So, of course, we could measure your absolute power, you know, in watts, or your pace for a workout, but that's not maybe necessarily the best. Because then, you know, you have different splits for your different workouts.
Not only, and every athlete essentially has different capacity. Not only in comparison to kind of experience and actual capacity for producing power, but also in a sense that some people are just better equipped for like shorter pieces and for sprints, and some athletes and some of you are just really much better at kind of doing longer workouts and longer pieces.
Exactly. It's basically almost a preference, I would say.
Yeah.
Some people prefer longer, more of a cardiovascular capacity types of workouts. Some people want to go short and really hard.
Yeah, and some just really want to do the endurance way, and as we like to say, they wouldn't even sit on the rower for less than 10K.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a challenge to decide of how to really represent this, and how to make a score, or how to make a metric that is really fair or on everybody, and can really show, so to say, how well you're doing, and how well you did perform in your workout. No matter of whether you are a beginner or you are a very experienced athlete, or even a professional.
So we basically wanted to come up with something that you can use on a daily basis that tells you. We even kind of had a little discussion in general about kind of what does it mean to measure your performance, and also we came up with the discussion of leading and lagging measurements.
Yes.
So just to clarify, so for example, if let's talk for a simple example, let's talk about weight loss and how we differentiate between leading and lagging measurements. So a leading measurement, for example, for weight loss would be how much you exercise, you know, what's your calorie intake, and so on.
Diet. So basically, this is the measurements that kind of lead you to the result.
Yeah. So that's the measurements you should be able to follow up on almost every day.
Yeah.
And then you have the lagging measurements, which are often the result. So for example, in terms of weight loss, that's the actual weight.
Yeah, when you step on the scale and you go, okay, did I move towards my goal, or did I not?
So, but the problem with this is that the lagging measurement, I mean, it's called lagging because it lags. So there might be quite a substantial time difference until you see a result from basically.
And this is the way we normally train, isn't it? Like we say, so to say, we have a benchmark workout, and we test our pace, we test our results, and then we train for, depending on how long your cycle is, that could be 4 weeks, that could be 8, 12 weeks, depending on your training plan. But then you go through your training cycle, and then you retest.
Yeah.
And then you see, hey, did it work? Did it work? So basically, for a duration of 4 to 6 or even 12 weeks, up to 12 weeks, you don't know whether what you're doing is working.
You have no idea where you're standing.
Yes, maybe you can feel it, but maybe you can't. And then you don't really know whether the training that you're doing really has the desired effect. As I said, whether, as we mentioned, whether this is kind of improving your cardiovascular capacity, losing, maybe not that much around losing weight, but in a sense, are you performing any better?
Exactly.
And we really wanted to devise a metric that would be able to tell you on day-to-day basis how well you're doing, because we believe that if you guys understand on daily basis and you know, have I done today what am I supposed to do to move the needle towards my end goal or towards what I'm aiming for, and that way you know that, so to say, when you step on the scale, if we continue with a weight loss metaphor, you will have lost that weight, you will have reached your goal. And this is what we wanted to achieve with the Power Score metric, that we give you some feedback on day-to-day basis where you know how well you're doing towards your goal. So when you retest yourself, when you do that benchmark workout again at the end of your cycle, you know you will have done better because you have tracked your progress on day-to-day basis. Which again has to be said, it's worth to be saying that there are many ways you can track your progress. However, they are so minor and they're just, what we believe, not really, really good ways of tracking. Of course, power production, just absolute power production is one of them. However, this is a little bit sticky.
Again, power, so let's say you have a training program that involves, longer pieces and shorter pieces.
Precisely.
Power is pretty much, power is almost useless. Absolute power for this will be completely different. Because of course you can exert way more power on the shorter piece than on the longer one.
Yes, absolutely.
So power is our absolute
and then
power.
It's always really confusing. You're sitting there and you say, okay, I did like a 2K and I did this pace, but today I'm doing a 4K. Should I lower it? Should I lower it by much? Or should I don't know. Is it? And the truth is that it is not proportionate. It's not that the power you can do for 2K, you can do 4 times more on 500 meters. No. Definitely not. No. Of course. And there is definitely a mathematical curve, which, for some people that are really geeky and are very, very good with numbers, they could probably plot that and they can kind of have some estimation of this. But you know what? For most of us who are not so mathsy and it's just in general on day-to-day basis, this is a very unsustainable procedure to go through to be able to have an expectation of what you should do today to kind of, as we said, move the needle on your, so to say, on your long-term goals. Can you just talk a little bit about essentially what Power Score is and how is it calculated?
Yeah. So for the Power Score, we basically needed to look for something that can compare against the different durations of workouts. So that led us to basically find FTP. FTP tries to basically compare the different durations of workouts and tell you, okay, because you can go at a specific power for 1 hour, and then maybe you can go 20% higher for a 20-minute workout, and maybe you can go 50% higher for a 15-minute workout.
And that has been very well researched in different endurance sports.
So, and that basically gives us a power curve, or FTP curve, which basically we can use to tell you how hard in terms of absolute power you can go for a specific piece based on its duration. And we can also kind of almost reverse engineer it to then tell you how well you have done, or compared to what you could do to your capacity. So after we have enough workouts of different durations so we can estimate the shape of your power curve, of your FTP curve, we can then use this data to actually compare against your current workout that you have done and see if that is above what the curve has predicted based on your previous workouts. That means basically that you have pushed yourself harder. Or
so to say, as soon as we have collected more data on different types of workouts, that will become more accurate, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And of course, it is, I guess, worth mentioning that having just a couple of those calculations is probably not optimal, and the more they're done. So basically, the more you use the app, the more we calculate, the more accurate the predictions become. And of course, this is due to just collecting more data, but also it becomes more accurate, because if you just have few of those calculations, you would never know. And let's face it, there are many factors that really affect our performance. That could be stress levels, that could be quality of sleep, food, and general well-being, and so on. And it is just worth noting that in order to remove those kind of additional factors that could affect your FTP or your power score calculations in that manner. The more you use it, the more you, so to say, the more you use the app more accurate the performance score and the power score would be.
And of course, I mean, right now the kind of calculations happen in the background, but do let us know how much you are maybe interested in this kind of data, and if we see that really a lot of people want to dig into it.
Comment below, and if you like to hear more about the mathsy stuff and to kind of understand how exactly this is calculated and how the formula is improved and the curve is created, let us know, and we'll dive in a little bit into it. So what does it mean, power score? So let's say we go into the app and I have done my workout and a number pops up as my power score. What does it mean? What does that number mean, and how should I understand it?
So the power score that we give you comes as a percentage. So based on that, you can know how much of your capacity have you used in your particular workout. So let's say it comes at 100%. That means you have used 100% of your capacity for your workout, which, of course, based on how you interpret the result, can mean very good. Let's say your goal was maybe just to perform at your kind of what you're used to, so to say, your optimal capacity, then that's perfect. If you strive to maybe push yourself and push your limits, then you should be aiming for power scores above 100.
And what would be, so to say, what would be a good number to strive for? Let's say, so if the number is 100 or very close to 100, that means we are performing at the level that we are expected to. So we can say that this is the level of maintenance, and this is totally fine, depending on where you are within your training. Essentially, there are plenty of times where we just want to maintain our performance or kind of just build volume within a particular type of training, and this is totally fine. But let's say that we're really going just before a competition, or just kind of really want to progress our performance, and we're looking at a power score of 100 or more. What is like a golden number that one should be looking at?
So that also depends on whether you are more on the professional side or more on the beginner side, because professionals, I think, have already kind of optimized their performance to a certain degree. So at that point, you are looking at maybe really just maybe even less than 10% on top of your optimal performance. Whereas that
would be actually a lot if you are on top
that
of
would
your
be a lot, yes.
If you are on top of your career, and we do know very well that, especially when it comes to really top elite athletes, a teeny tiny, maybe 2-3% difference actually makes a huge difference in results, and often in competition makes a difference between, as we like to joke, between a medal and thanks for coming. So so I guess 10% for an elite will be, but for the average person, I guess 10% would be a good number to go anywhere between 100 and 110. And I am guessing that for a beginner who is not yet really aware of how hard they can exert themselves, and that could be a little bit more flexible, and maybe they can even see.
Exactly. And that's I think very good, because that also it motivates us, right? It's very nice to see that we are improving, and this is the kind of number that you can see on every workout. So if you see that on every workout you are pushing yourself to 105% of your capacity, that means that capacity will be increasing over time.
And then if you see suddenly a score of 150%, then you have to make the guess that probably you were not pushing yourself as hard on the previous workouts. And of course, as coming back to what we just talked about, that the more you use it, the more accurate it will become, and also the more aware you will become of your own capabilities within different pieces and different types of workouts, whether this is longer, shorter intervals, etc.
Yeah. And you will also feel it. I mean, if you do a workout that gives you a power score of 150%, you might be sore for some time.
Yes. And this is definitely a great gauge to also anticipate how you should take the next few days after such a kind of top level of exertion. And so how should we? We kind of touched a little bit upon it, but how should we use it in training? So to say again. Let's say we've done a couple of workouts with the app, and we have seen our score. We've been using it for a while. How should we use this to in our day-to-day training?
Yeah. So we want this power score to be used in a very general way. So it depends on what the goal of your training is. If the goal of your training is to maintain your performance, then your goal should be 100% on your power score to
or
basically
even a little under, so to say,
Of course, I mean,
again.
And at that point, every training program I think has some kind of variation.
Yes.
Variation meaning you even have a rest day, you have a day where you just take it easy, and then you have days where you just want to push yourself.
And there are days that you're just not feeling it.
Oh yeah, and then of course each individual may have different reasons also to kind of adjust the training.
Absolutely.
So based on that, you basically set your expectations of what the power score should be. Let's say, you feel really rough, you didn't have a good night's sleep, then you say, okay, maybe today I want to achieve 90% of my capacity. I want to put 90% of my capacity to this workout.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think it's worth mentioning that perhaps after a competition or after at the end of the season or after you have achieved a goal, when you have been kind of climbing up on your performance, you should kind of, so to say, deload and take a little bit of time, and then maybe you should be looking even at so to say, a performance score of 80% or less, and this is absolutely fine. And you should give your body the time to kind of to rest and recover and bounce back into yet another training cycle or yet another preparation for competition. So this is a great measurement, and again, it is worth repeating that this is strictly individual.
Yes.
So what one particular absolute power for one person is, let's say 100% of their capacity, that might be 150, 200, it may be even 250, or even just 60-70% of other people. So this score is for you. This score is relative to you, and it will always be applicable to your training and to your performance, because it will grow and evolve with you.
Exactly, it adapts to your performance. So you can use it on a daily basis.
Yes, and as we said, this is why we believe that this is the one thing that will really help you move the needle of your training forward, as this is something that you can use on a daily basis and see whether you are moving towards your long-term goal or midterm goal, whether this is, as we said, maintenance, performance, kind of maximum exertion, or just recovery. So that's pretty much it all from us today. I hope that kind of clarified some stuff and answered some questions. Of course, if you have more questions, just comment below and we will happily address them. We would also probably do another video where we talk about how you can use your power score plus your technique score, which is the other key metric within our product. And just let us know in the comments below. Do you want to hear some more details or some other discussions? Do you have any questions that we haven't answered? And we'll happily address those in the next video. Thanks a lot, and see you on the other side.
See you next time.